Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to what's making news, let's take a quick look outside our weather window from this Monday afternoon. And how about this gorgeous shot looking down at the city of Leavenworth from our Blag Mountain Sky-Fi Tower camera. And thank you to Localtel and Sky-Fi for providing these gorgeous shots. Just a little bit of cloudiness out there today, plenty of sunshine, and temperatures right around that 70-degree mark into the lower 70s. And here's what we can look forward to as we make our way through the work week. Wenatchee, our forecast there in the bottom right part of your screen, 76 forecast high for tomorrow. And then look at Wednesday and Thursday, 80 degrees both days, and beautiful on Friday too, with a temperature of 79. And I'll have more weather details coming up for you a little bit later on. And now here are a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A pair of burglars broke into the DNL Army surplus store over the weekend, and police are asking for your help. State troopers say a four-vehicle collision that injured four people south of Othello was caused by a driver from Tonasket. And a two-car accident on Interstate 90 just west of Moses Lake early Saturday morning resulted in DUI charges for both drivers. But first, our top story tonight. An armed robber traveling in what appears to be a white Lincoln held up a West Broadway Avenue gas station Friday night in Moses Lake. Police say the suspect displayed a pistol and made off with an undisclosed amount of cash. A surveillance camera captured moments from the robbery, as well as images of the suspect's vehicle, a white Lincoln Town Car. No one was harmed during that incident. If you have information, please call Moses Lake Police at 762-1160. Wenatchee police say two suspects broke in and burglarized a local Army surplus store early Saturday morning. A security camera at DNL Army Surplus on Benton Way captured these images. The Wenatchee Police Department posted the photos seeking public help in contacting the suspects. Any information on the incident or the identities of the two burglars should be relayed to Police Detective Graves, and that phone number is 888-4256. Meanwhile, state troopers say a four-vehicle collision that injured four people south of Othello was caused by a driver from Tonasket. 31-year-old Kyle J. Newman was not injured, nor were his two passengers, one of them a 42-year-old man from Omak. But the Washington State Patrol says Newman crashed his Dodge Charger into the rear of a Toyota Highlander while it was waiting to make a turn off Highway 17 about 3:35 p.m. on Sunday. The collision pushed the Highlander into oncoming traffic. Four other people in two vehicles had to be treated for injuries at Othello Community Hospital. Newman was cited for following too close. A two-car accident on Interstate 90 just west of Moses Lake early Saturday morning resulted in DUI charges for both drivers. The Washington State Patrol reports that at 2:21 a.m., 25-year-old Mateo Cruz of Othello was driving his 2004 Honda Civic westbound on the highway when his vehicle was struck from behind by a 2019 Chevrolet Traverse being driven by 46-year-old Henry Garcia Varello of Ephrata while Varello was attempting to merge into Cruz's lane. Cruz and a passenger in Varela's car, 40-year-old Tiffany Davis Garcia of Ephrata, were transported to Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake. Cruz faces charges of driving under the influence. Varela, meanwhile, faces charges of driving under the influence and vehicular assault. The accident closed westbound I-90 for nearly 5 hours. Well, coming up next, a 30-acre brush fire in rough terrain was controlled after a strong response Saturday by Grant County firefighters. The NCW Library System is now the full owner of its main branch library in Wenatchee after the city surrendered its 50% stake in the building. On Friday, Central Washington Hospital began allowing patients to have one designated visitor or patient supporter during their stay at the hospital. And a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held in April on a 5-unit affordable townhouse development in Chelan called Emerson Village. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
If you're like me, you're already dreaming about the summer, enjoying it with friends and family in the backyard. Don't get discouraged with the chilly breeze of spring just yet. There is still work to be done, and the warmer temperatures are just around the corner. If you've been thinking about when to get your backyard ready for summer, come on down to Blue Lagoon, now scheduling pool openings. Ask us why we think you should open your pool sooner rather than later. Call today. Scheduling is filling up fast. Mary Maids of Wenatchee has been professionally cleaning and sanitizing homes and businesses in North Central Washington since 1998. Mary Maids uses commercial-grade cleaners and viricides. Mary Maids has implemented additional safety and sanitation protocols. They are strictly following CDC guidelines for the safety of their clients and employees. For expert help with cleaning and sanitizing your home or business, call or look up Mary Maids of Wenatchee to schedule your free estimate today.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock Seal Coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
Welcome back. In another news, a 30-acre brush fire in rough terrain was controlled after a strong response Saturday by Grant County firefighters. The fire broke out just after 7 p.m. on the east side of Highway 17. That's just across from Lake Lenore. Grant County Fire District 7, Fire District 13, and the Ephrata Department teamed up in the effort. It took some mountaineering work and a lot of water, but the fire was doused by about 10:45 p.m. The NCW Library System is now the full owner of its main branch library in Wenatchee after the city surrendered its 50% stake in the building. The city and library district had been joint owners of that building, which underwent a $4.5 million facelift last year. The Wenatchee City Council approved the ownership transfer last month.
And after much discussion, the library and the district and the city came to a conclusion that because of the amount of investment that was done to the building, it would be conducive for the library to continue to own that building. And so we are in essence transferring our shared interest in that building to the district, which would then cover our obligation for the renovation costs, as well as terminate that shared building use and maintenance agreement, which means that the city would no longer have any maintenance or financial obligations for the next 30 years. Before those 30 years, if the library district sells it, 25% of those proceeds would go into a new building. So that in essence would guarantee that if for some reason the district were to sell the building, there would still be kind of a pot of money that would then be able to be used for a new building within the city limits, and we specified, that it would have to be for a capital improvement, so it couldn't go to administration or something different. It has to go to a building.
On Friday, Central Washington Hospital began allowing patients to have one designated visitor or patient supporter during their stay at the hospital. Prior to the policy change, people hospitalized during much of the pandemic were only allowed a visitor under very limited circumstances. Now, non-COVID-19 patients can identify one person to serve as their patient supporter during their stay at the hospital, and for extended stays, there can be a one-time transfer of that role. That patient supporter must be 18 or older. The hospital allows obstetrics patients to have a primary support person and a second person with them during labor and delivery. Visitor rules for end-of-life patients also are less restrictive. Patients at Confluence Health Clinics, the emergency department, or walk-in clinics are allowed to have one visitor accompany them. Well, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held in April on a 5-unit affordable townhouse development in Chelan called Emerson Village. The Chelan Housing Trust is now working toward an even bigger housing project on Anderson Road. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz talked with Chelan Valley Housing Trust Executive Director Mike Cooney about how these projects are able to come about and the need the city has for more affordable housing.
The interest for the townhomes was pretty overwhelming. It was about 20 to 25 people per townhome. So yes, we wanted to get places that people could afford. So these townhomes are our first ones. They sold for $200,000 each. So contrasted with the average price, it's pretty good. How do you do that? Well, you have to get the land at either a greatly discounted, which we did here, and we're grateful for the person who owned this lot to work with the housing trust. And then you have to have people that are willing to build at a lower price per square foot, which we did. K&L Homes did a great job, and the quality is incredible. We had a ribbon cutting the other day, and people walk through and just can't believe the quality that we're delivering at $200,000. But we cannot do this on our own. We are not federally subsidized, so we are getting partnerships with the city, the county, the state. Also, the Chamber of Commerce has helped us. And so those are our partnership folks, but we can't do it without an income stream to go out and buy the next piece of property and to build infrastructure to that property.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, the Wenatchee School District may soon adopt what's called a land acknowledgement statement, a recognition of the indigenous groups that traditionally lived and worked where the district now stands. Mary Big Bull Lewis, a Wenatchee High graduate and member of the Colville Confederated Tribes, spent part of last week leading school board members through the history of local Native peoples. It's just the first step in a process to create the district statement.
You know, it's important to understand that, you know, we have a really good opportunity to find better ways to educate our area about the Native American history, because it's rich in culture, stories, traditions. The land is sacred, and that we believe that we belong to the land versus, you know, just a property ownership with our names on a piece of paper. And so that, you know, like I said, I grew up here in Wenatchee and went through the school district, and there was a real lack of local Native American history that was taught. Understanding it, learning it is really important in order to create a positive change, because throughout Native American history, we have been oppressed throughout times through different things, whether it's through blood quantum, or treaties not being upheld. With the Native Americans, so Wenatchee is named after our tribe. Wenatchee name was given to us. We are the Piscosa. So working back in history to understand that and teaching that. Otherwise, we just say we're Piscosa, like, oh, well, that's somebody else, but we're the same. And so at one point in our history, there were over 2,000 Piscosa. The villages of the Piscosa would move from the Wenatchee River all the way up to the icicle, depending on the season, to pick berries, to go fishing. So the icicle river is really important to our people and our tribe. And those were our original and promised fishing and hunting grounds, which we actually lost those fishing and hunting rights in the treaties that were not upheld by the government.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast, and I hope you all had a great weekend. Weather-wise, kind of a mixed bag, a little bit cool and breezy Saturday. Yesterday was a nice day with temperatures near 70 and much less wind. Today, even better as we look down at Leavenworth from our Black Mountain Sky-Fi Tower camera. You can just see parts of the town there in the bottom of the valley, and beautiful day out there all across North Central Washington. Unofficially, high temperature here in the Wenatchee area got up to 73. That's 3 degrees above 70, which is our normal high right now. 48 was where we started, and that's pretty much right on the money for our normal low temperature of 47. 2013, that was our record high year of 92 degrees, record low 36, and that was set in 1970. Sunrise this morning, 5:30, and the sun will set tonight at 8:25. Let's take a look at your Tuesday, and Tuesday, the beginning of a pretty nice warming trend that we'll see right through the rest of the week. We'll get to that in a second, but boy, enjoy tomorrow if you have the chance. Look at some of these temperatures. 76, Quincy, Ephrata, and Moses Lake. A little bit warmer in Wenatchee at 77 degrees. Aniat and Chelan, also Omak at 77. About a trip up to Lake Wenatchee tomorrow. High temperature of 71. Tonight we will see a few clouds out there, partly cloudy skies, a light west breeze. Here's our area of high pressure, and it's going to stay parked out of the eastern Pacific for the next 4 or 5 days, and that's going to provide a nice ridge of high pressure all over the entire western United States. For Tuesday, as we mentioned, mostly sunny, light wind, and warmer. Most of us in the middle 70s, around 80 down in the Tri-Cities for highs tomorrow. As we get into the midweek part of our work week, partly cloudy skies for Wednesday. You can see a few clouds are riding down the side of that ridge, but I'll tell you what, we are going to warm up. We're talking temperatures here around 80 degrees for Wednesday. Thursday, more of the same. Mostly sunny, unseasonably warm. Here is that ridge going over the entire western and central part of the country. We're talking highs on Thursday once again of near 80 degrees. For Friday, we'll see sunny skies. Temperatures once again very, very nice as that ridge holds on for one more day with temperatures around 80. And then as we get into the upcoming weekend, yeah, the wind will return. We're going to see windy conditions on Saturday, about 15 to 25 miles an hour as our flow begins to come now from the northwest. It will be a bit cooler Saturday too, with highs in the lower 70s, but that'll be about normal for this time of year. And then as we end the weekend on Sunday, not quite as windy, but still breezy right smack dab in the center of Washington. More clouds will move in too, especially to the west side of the state, with temperatures on Sunday still nice though in the mid 70s. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Tonight 47 degrees, 77 and warmer Tuesday, and the warm weather is on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s, 73 and windy Saturday, breezy Sunday with a high then of 76. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
It's a nice fish. Yeah, that's a beauty. We'll take that one. Whew. Oh boy, that hillside is steep. Ooh. Ooh.
Work Sharp presents the Northwest Outdoorsman.
Watch for new episodes of the Northwest Outdoorsman on the NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday to you. Hope you had a good weekend. Mariners were in it against Texas on Sunday until the fifth inning. That's when things kind of went a little awry. The Rangers exploded for 6 runs and went on for a 10-2 win. Justin Sheffield took the loss on the mound. He went 5 innings, allowed 7 runs on 10 hits, including 2 home runs. Now, prior to the blow-up in the bottom of the fifth, Seattle had some hitting highlights beginning in the top of the inning by Mitch Haniger.
Goes the other way, and that gets it by Nate Lowe. Gallo will retrieve. Evan White coming around to score. We get a tie ball game with 1-1. 25th run batted in for Mitch Haniger.
This is a situation where Mitch was not going to pull off the slider this time. A late swing on the fastball. I think he was just kind of sitting in between. That fastball, middle in, elevated for him. Fights it off, pick up a base hit and an RBI.
Dave Sims, Mike Blowers on the call on Root Sports Northwest. Kyle Seager gave Seattle a brief lead later in that inning.
Slow roller. Connor Falefa's got no play. J.P. Crawford scores, and the Mariners have a 2-1 lead. Seager with an RBI. Didn't get it out of the infield. Still put it in the cha-ching column.
I think he catches a little bit of a break. Here's the changeup down and away from him, and it looked like the hop came up on Kiner Falefa at the last second when he was trying to make the play, and that caused a little bit of a bobble, and there you have it.
But the Rangers came and scored 6 runs in the bottom of the inning, and they go on for the 10-2 win. Seattle manager Scott Servais says when you make 3 errors and don't pitch well, that's what can happen against a hot club like Texas.
Yeah, not the way we thought this series would play out after we got the nice win on Friday night. But Texas is really swinging the bat. It's about as hot of an offensive club as we've seen all year. And that combined with, we didn't play great defense today and really struggled executing, the 0-2-1 2 pitches here the last couple nights. And they're doing damage with them. So, disappointing finish to the series. We just didn't play a good ball game today, and we got to hand it to us. I mean, that's what happened. They hit the tar of the ball, and we didn't catch it as good as we normally do. And in this ballpark, as we get to playing it more and more, you've got to put up big innings. And they did. And, we had some chances today, and we didn't. So
Seattle continues its road trip in L.A. tomorrow to face the Dodgers at 7:10. Yusei Kikuchi will face Walker Buehler. Well, despite losing 2 of 3 over the weekend in Texas, Seattle remains just 2.5 games behind Oakland in the American League West. At other action on Sunday, Kyle Tucker hit a 3-run home run to lead Houston over Toronto 7-4. Astros are a half game in front of Seattle in the AL West. 6 Angels pitchers combined to hold the Dodgers to 1 run on 4 hits with 10 strikeouts in the Battle of L.A. 2-1 the final. Jared Walsh's 2-run ground rule double was all the offense the Angels would need in the bottom of the third. Tampa Bay's Willie Adames erased a 3-run deficit with a 3-run home run in the top of the 5th, and then Mike Brosius' solo shot in the 6th won it as the Rays beat Oakland by a final of 4-3. Well, we've seen how fast DK Metcalf can be on the football field.
This time he lofts one and it's picked off at the goal line. That's Buda Baker. Buda Baker out in front. Can Metcalf track him down? Can he chase him down? And he does to save a touchdown. But what a play by Baker. Intended for Carson. Wilson lofted it. We talked about, we hadn't mentioned Baker's name tonight on a defensive play. There he is.
Look at what happens. They're all right there. They come snap to the line of scrimmage to try and get it off quickly so that you got confused on the defensive side. Buda Baker did not. But watch the play here by DK Metcalf. He is flying down the field. Baker thinks he's going to walk into the end zone, and Metcalf just refused to let it go. It was unbelievable how much ground he made up. That had to be 10 yards on a very fast Buda Baker, and he just tracked him down.
Yeah, I think we can all watch that play over and over and over. Sunday, the speedy Seahawks wide receiver put his talents up against the fastest men in America by competing in the 100-meter dash at the U.S. Track and Field Golden Games and Distance Open. DK lined up against 8 other competitors in his race and held his own.
Rogers, center of your screen in lane 5, will be the one to watch. DK Metcalf, second from the far right. Second heat of the Nike Men's 100. Metcalf's hanging with them at the moment. It's fairly even. DK's doing a good job. On the inside, though, CJ Ujar and Mike Rogers, that was close. 10-12, the winning time.
He did not embarrass himself.
Not at all.
He hung with the pack. Yes, I think he's 8th, but he ran well.
Metcalf finished last in his race and 15th out of 17th in the field, but his time of 10.37 seconds, astounding considering he's 6 foot 4 inches and probably 235 pounds. Not bad, DK. Well, let's get you up to date on the weekend scoreboard in high school sports. We'll begin with baseball today. Eastmont and Moses Lakes split a doubleheader Friday, with the Chiefs winning the opener 5-4. Wildcats took the nightcap 5-3. Cashmere's JV beat Pateras Friday 14-3. On Saturday, Wenatchee split a pair with Ephrata, winning the opener 10-4, losing the nightcap 10-8. Cascade swept Quincy 6-3 and 17-3. Chelan swept Cashmere 11-0 and 13-3. Liberty Bell and Omak split with the Mountain Lions taking game 1, 17-0. The Pioneers won the nightcap 13-zip. Brewster beat Okanagan twice, 11-2 and 8-0. Lake Roosevelt swept Warden, while Luke took 2 from Manson, and Moses Lakes JV swept one of Mansfield, 15-4 and 14-3. Turning to softball, Eastmont swept a doubleheader from Wenatchee in softball Friday, 15-0 and 11-1. Saturday saw Moses Lake sweep Warden 6-5 and 8-1. Cascade clobbered Quincy 16-6 and 20-8. Cashmere took 2 from Wahluke, 15-1 and 11-0. Brewster beat ACH 13-3 and 13-7. Bridgeport swept Soap Lake 10-4 and 20-14. And Royal beat Okanagan in a single game Saturday by a final of 11-1. Wenatchee ran its unbeaten record in soccer 9-0 Friday with a hard-fought 1-0 win over Quincy in boys soccer. By the way, we'll have the Panthers and Eastmont Wildcats tomorrow on the NCWLIFE channel. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wisen live from Lee Boffill Field at the Apple Bowl, 7 o'clock tomorrow night right here. Now back to the soccer scores. Cashmere and Royal played a 1-1 tie Friday, and Bridgeport beat Okanagan 5-2. Saturday, Eastmont shut out Moses Lake 2-0, while Luke blanked Ephrata 1-0. Cascade down Chelan 3-1. Manson blanked Brewster 5-0, and Tenasket tumbled Omak 8-0. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. Join me for a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll take a look at that weather forecast. Things are looking good, as Grant's already mentioned, for most of this week. We're getting deeper and deeper into May. We'll have that weather forecast. We'll have your latest news headlines. We'll have whatever sports we can gather up and send your way. Plus, we'll have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, and Mike Magnotti is going to have an opinion coming your way as well. Get your Tuesday going live and local. That would be on this program. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley will be live tomorrow morning from Studio 4 here in downtown Wenatchee. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Hello, North Central Washington. I'm Dave Tosh, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and I'm excited to announce a new variety show entitled Vibrant Living, brought to you by the Senior Center. And I think you'll find it educational, informative, and a lot of fun. Join us for the new program, Vibrant Living.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?